My parents gave my brother my grandfather's house. They forgot one thing. It was already mine. My grandfather died last year and left the house to me. Everyone knew it. I didn't move in because I wanted to keep it exactly the way he left it. Then, one Saturday, my parents called me to dinner. My brother Ryan was already there. Dad smiled and said, "We have something to tell you. Ryan is moving into Grandpa's house." I thought he was joking. I asked why. Mom looked at me and said, "Ryan needs a place to live, and you're not using it." I stared at my brother. He wouldn't look at me. I asked Dad when Grandpa changed his will. Dad said, "A few weeks before he died." That was the first thing that didn't make sense. Grandpa had shown me his will less than a month before he died. He told me the house was mine. I asked Dad to show me the new will. He said the lawyer had it. Ryan finally spoke. Dad told me Grandpa changed his mind. I looked at him. "You knew the house was mine." He shrugged. "I thought you would give it to me eventually." I went home that night and opened the box where I kept Grandpa's papers. His original will was still there, so was something I had almost forgotten about, a copy of the deed. I read it twice. The house wasn't just left to me in the will. Grandpa had transferred ownership to me 8 months before he died. My name was already on the deed. The will didn't even matter anymore. The next morning I called Grandpa's attorney. He confirmed it. Then he told me something that made my stomach drop. "Your father came to my office 2 weeks ago asking how he could transfer the house to your brother. I asked if he had your permission. He didn't. I drove straight to my parents' house. Ryan was already carrying boxes inside. I put the deed on the kitchen table. Dad picked it up. His face changed. "Where did you get this?" "Grandpa gave me the house." "You knew that." Mom started crying. "We were only trying to help Ryan." I looked at Ryan. "Did you know the house was mine?" He stayed quiet. I asked again. Finally, he said Dad told me Grandpa changed his mind. I looked at my father. "You lied to both of us." Dad shook his head. "He's your brother. He deserves a chance." I said so did I. "But you didn't ask me for anything. You decided for me." Ryan stepped forward. "I didn't know. I thought Grandpa left it to me." I believed Dad. I looked at him and said, "I know. That's why I'm not angry at you. I'm angry that they put you in a house that was never yours." Ryan looked at my father. Then he quietly put his keys on the table. Dad stared at him. "You're really leaving?" Ryan nodded. "I don't want something that started with a lie." He picked up his backpack and walked out. My parents didn't speak to me for 3 months. Then Dad called. He said Ryan was angry with him. I asked why. Dad said he finally understood what happened. "You promised him something you couldn't give him." Dad was quiet. Then he said, "I thought you would eventually give it to him." I said, "That's exactly the problem. You never asked what Grandpa wanted. You only asked what you wanted." I kept the house. I repaired the old kitchen. I kept Grandpa's chair by the window exactly where it had always been. Months later, I found the letter Grandpa had written to his attorney before he transferred the house. One sentence stood out. "I want him to have this because he understands that a home is something you protect, not something you take." I sat in that chair for a long time. My parents thought Grandpa had left me a house. He hadn't. He had left me a responsibility. And after everything my family tried to do with it, I finally understood why he trusted me with it.